Welcome, welcome, welcome to 3 steps to free yourself from negative emotions. My name is Lisa Bowen, and I want to introduce you to Elise, who is my alter ego. She was created after one of my clients described me as a cross between Mary Poppins and a Jedi Knight. So, before we get started, negative emotions. I invite you to write down a situation that you are currently struggling with. And we're going to have a look at the 3 steps. So we'll come back in a couple of minutes, and I just want you to start thinking about a negative situation, and then we'll come back to that in a moment. So just get the brain working. So those 3 steps are to identify, and that is to identify the energy around a situation. The second step is to acknowledge your role in the situation. Yes, your role. You will have a role in that situation. And the third step is to change your vibration to match the results that you want. And we'll look at each one of these in turn, and you'll be amazed at how much power you already have and how you can use it in an even more productive way. So let's say, just be thinking about a situation, and it could be a person who's pushing your buttons. It could be a situation at work and at home, in your family, social life, group you're in, doesn't really matter. Just start really thinking, and I might just give you a moment to write down a situation or a person that you'd like to change. You'd like to change the situation around a person. Because of course we can never change a person, we can only change a situation. Or we can change the way we think about a person or the situation. So cool, we'll come back to that in a minute. But before we start, I want to explain about energy. Okay, because I mentioned energy, we have to identify the energy around a situation. And you probably already know that everything is energy. It just vibrates at different frequencies. I'm sure you have walked into a room and felt you could cut the air with a knife. Yeah, that would be a heavy energy or a low vibration. Now, the opposite may have happened, and you could have been feeling low, and a friend calls with some exciting news, and suddenly you feel much better. So clearly, that's a light energy or a high vibration. And neither way is good or bad. Okay, it's just the way it is. And it's how it makes you feel. So a simple way to determine whether an energy is high or low is to notice how it makes you feel. If you feel bad, it's low or heavy. If you feel good, it's high, light. And your feelings will determine how good or bad you determine it. So let's look at the energy or vibration of a situation. When somebody says something or does something that you don't like, what kind of vibration are you in? Pretty low? Yeah, just imagine, just think back to the situation you were thinking about, and what did you feel like when that original situation happened? Can you remember back to the original? So what happens is when a situation happens, and this can happen in good as well as bad, heavy as well as light, light as well as heavy situations. But what happens is we cast out an energy net that catches them at that vibration. So everybody who's in it is caught in that vibration. Now, try as they might, unless they've mastered their mind, I'm guessing at this point they haven't, they really have no operation but to operate at that frequency with you. So let's look at this for a moment. Someone says something that upsets you. Now, they may or may not have intended to hurt you. Who knows? Because someone else hurt you in the past by saying something similar, you immediately go back to that pain and lock into that frequency. So the next time you see this person, you just go straight to that frequency from the past and expect them to say something nasty again. They sense your vibration and respond accordingly. reinforcing your belief that they are a nasty person. Did you know, I just want to explain a little bit about the power of expectation. Okay, did you know that many years ago, a study was done on school kids where half of the class was randomly selected and the teacher was told that these were the bright students and the others that the others would never amount to much. So the teacher that was given the other students, those that would never going to amount to much, that's the brief they were given. Now, this was not based on any assessment of the children's capability. Okay, there was no test assessment at all. These were randomly picked children. And what happened was that the teachers treated the kids as though they were bright or not without realizing what they were doing. The subconscious mind has so much to answer for. It really does. Anyway, later on, an assessment was done on the kids, and those who were in the bright group, the supposedly bright group, performed much better than those in the not bright group. So this illustrates that we behave according to expectations. Okay, think of troublesome kids. Once labeled with that expectation, they'll live up to it. Now, none of this is happening in the conscious mind. It's going on deep in the subconscious mind. Remember that these kids were not assessed in the beginning to determine whether they were bright or not. Okay, this was random. So can you think of a situation that this might be going on for you? Somebody is living up to their label. Yeah, it could be a child labeled with who knows what these days, or a colleague labeled as bad-tempered, sneaky, or bossy. They really have no option but to behave that way because of the energy net. Let me ask you this. You've decided that you've been a bit unfair to your partner, kids, or colleagues, so you decide that you're going to be a bit nicer to them. Yeah, you're all psyched up, you're going to be a bit nicer. And yet the minute you see them, you fall into your previous way of talking to them. Have you ever done that? Guilty. And that's because you're still caught up in the energy net you threw out. It can, of course, work the other way. Think about going back to your parents' place, and no matter how old you are, mum and dad still treat you like their little girl or boy. And within a very short space of time, you're behaving like that surly teenager you once were. Okay, so you've got an idea about the energy. This is important, okay, because this is our secret power, is learning how to use this energy. Okay, so step one, we need to identify what the energy might be around the search situation. Just notice whether it makes you feel good or bad. And if you want to check it on a scale of 1 to 10, feel free. So this is the easy step. So let's practice. Think of a situation, the one that we were talking about earlier on, or relationship that isn't what you would like it to be. And this could be a partner, a friend, or one or more of your kids, a work colleague, or someone in your social circumstances. And give it a mark between 1 and 10. 1 being something you can tolerate easily enough, 10 being something so bad you want out. You don't want to play this game anymore. And next, think about whether this is a frequency you want to vibrate at. And if not, what would you like it to be? So identify the energy around a situation. I'll give you a few moments to write that down. So write down the situation or relationship that isn't how you would like it to be. Give it a scale of 1 to 10. And then think about whether this is a frequency you're happy to vibrate at, or whether you really want to get it changed. And if you want to change it, what frequency would you like to change it to? So I'll just give you a moment to think about that. Feel free to answer any questions or ask any questions in the chat. Okay, so let's move on to step 2. So we've identified the energy around the situation, given it a scale, a mark on the scale of 1 to 10, decided whether we want to vibrate at that frequency or not, and if not, the frequency we'd like to vibrate at instead. Okay. Now, this is the challenging part. Acknowledging what energy you are contributing to the situation is a big responsibility. Remember, it's acknowledging the energy you're bringing in. So your role will bring the energy in. And it's very easy to say, well, they started it, blah, blah, blah. However, that leaves everyone in a disempowered state, and there's no resolutions in a disempowered state. You are definitely not in control of the situation, which means that you are being controlled by somebody else. Let me say that again. You are being controlled by someone else. How does that feel? Pretty crap, eh? You're at the mercy of somebody else. And I don't know about you, I certainly don't like feeling like that. So when we take ownership or responsibility, now this is not about blame, this is not about taking blame. This is about acknowledging your role within the situation. When we take ownership or responsibility of our role in a situation, who's now in control? You got it. We are. Yes, we now hold the power, which is very empowering. And there's a difference here between empowered and powerful. A lot of disempowered people are very powerful. Being powerful doesn't necessarily make you empowered. So a word of caution here, abusing power will come back and bite you on the backside. This is actually a very valid point because disempowered people disempower people, while empowered people empower people. So if you are disempowering someone, look at how you could empower yourself. What is missing in your life? What do you need to be able to empower yourself? So let's go back to the situation that you looked at a few minutes ago. Take a couple of deep breaths. And now ask yourself where you might be contributing to this situation. Not easy, I know. I know. But just think about how you're expecting this person to behave. What are your expectations around this situation? Yeah, what are your expectations? So this is your role, your expectations. How are you expecting them to behave? And remember that your energy will cause them to vibrate at the same frequency as yours. So if you're heavy because you're expecting them to behave in a certain way, your energy will cause them to respond in the same way. No wins there. Okay, no wins there at all. They are highly unlikely to change until you do, unless they know how to use these 3 steps. So why is it always up to me to make the effort? I hear you say. Yeah. Well, in most cases, it's me that wants a different result. So your partner, your colleague, they'll normally pretty much stay with the status quo. They might not like it, but they don't want to change anything. So if we want a different result, then we have to be the ones who do things differently. And trust me, it's worth it. It's truly worth it. Okay, so step 3, how do we change? How do we change our energy from heavy to light? Okay, we're going to lag on them. Yes, we're going to lag. One of my beautiful clients called this lagging. And for those of you in a different country, lagging in the UK, and I think also in Australia, is to tell on somebody. All right, but we're going to lag on somebody. So telling tales. We are going to write down 5 things that you like, appreciate, or are grateful for. Yeah, no, 5 things all over. You don't have to do 5 likes, 5 appreciates, 5 grateful fors. And the reason for that is that there are times when, for instance, I can appreciate some of the lessons life gives me, but I don't always like them. However, these 3, like, appreciate, and grateful, are all higher vibrations that will get us out of a situation. So 5 things that you either like, you appreciate, or you are grateful for about this person or this situation, if you're doing a situation. Now, yes, you're going to have to work a little bit hard here. You're going to have to think, start off with 1. All right, just find 1. Okay, what can you appreciate about somebody? Because even if we don't like them or we're not grateful for them, we can usually appreciate that maybe they're good at their job, maybe they bring in the income, maybe they do something, maybe they're good with other people, or maybe they always get their work done on time, or maybe they just dress smartly. You like that they just dress smartly. You like that they always look good. I don't know. Find something and start with that 1 thing. So I'm going to give you a moment here to just write down as many as you can. We're aiming for 5 things that you like, appreciate, or grateful for. Now, if this is a situation that has been going on for some time, go back to before this situation evolved. So if it's with a partner, go back to the time when you fell in love with your partner. If it was a work colleague, go back to a time when things were easier between you. Okay, so think outside the square here. Let's get creative. Look at how they are with the other people or back to before this current situation. So I'll just give you a few moments to do that. There we go. I know it's a challenge. I know it's a challenge, but trust me, it will get easier. It will get easier. All right. Well, as long as you got a couple, that's something for us to work through, because you can always come back and do this again. Okay. So let me explain why this is so powerful. We've already discussed how we cast an energy net over people. So look at it this way. Nothing has meaning until we give it meaning. Yes, that's right. Nothing has meaning until we give it meaning. Everything is neutral, and we attach meaning to it based on our past experiences. Everything just is. It's not good or bad until we label it good or bad. Remember, for everything you label good, somebody else will label bad. You've only got to look on Facebook for that, hasn't it? Somebody says something and then somebody else will come back with the opposite. Okay, so let's say if you haven't finished, you can come back to this a little bit later on. All right, but nothing has meaning until we give it meaning. So just look beyond your feelings and notice what you can see. So be objective, not subjective about this. Okay, so everything just is. But what happens is that we label it. This is what we do as humans. And this is part of our part of our human safety mechanism. You know, if we go back to the early prehistoric days, where we would look at something in our prehistoric brain, our limbic brain will actually determine whether something is safe or not. Safe is good, light. Dangerous is bad or heavy. And we still got this. So the body still does this. Mind, brain still does this. Okay, however, once we've labeled it good or bad, positive or negative, we put it in the good box over here or the bad box over there. Now, the problem with that is that you will only find good in the good box and the bad in the bad box. Think of it like shop. You know, if you want to buy food, you go to a food shop. If you want to buy a car, you go to a car dealer. You're not generally going to find food, not real food, at a car dealer shop, and you're not going to find a car, other than toy cars, maybe, in a food shop. Okay, so it's important that we get out of one and into the other. So the other thing that happens with this is that because they're on the same spectrum, good and bad, heavy and dark, heavy and light, we can only see one or the other. We're in one direction, we're in one shop. Okay, so we will not find anything other than what is in that store, that energy, that frequency. Okay, so if we're in the food shop, we will only find food. If we're in the car dealer shop, we will only find cars. So because we can't see the opposite, we need to turn around and face the opposite direction. And this is what lagging will help do, is to turn you around, get you out of the shop you're in into the shop that you want to be in. So at the moment, when you've labeled somebody bad, you've got this situation that you don't like, two things are at play here. Okay, you are now looking for the bad things in that person to reinforce the fact that you were right. Because did I mention that the ego likes to be right? Okay, the ego likes to be right. So if you've labeled something bad or someone bad, your ego will now go to look for ways to prove that you were right. So you will just find more and more bad things. Hands up if you've ever experienced this. How do you think a situation escalates so quickly? Because you've got a group of people all looking for the bad in the situation, and they're going to find it. Yeah. So you'll keep on looking for the bad things to justify your decision. And please remember, this is going on at a subconscious level. It's not going on in the conscious mind. It's going on in the subconscious mind. All right. So it will justify your expectations. I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to do this. You always do that. Then you're just going to get more of the same. So once you've taken the responsibility to change, to acknowledge your role in it, you can trundle over to the good box and start looking in there. And this is where the lagging comes in. The more good things you look for, the more you'll start to find. Okay, so this is a daily exercise. It's not just a time for now. This is a daily exercise, and I'm going to encourage you to do it every day, is to write down 5 things that you like, appreciate, or grateful for about this person until it gets to such a point where there's no issue there anymore. Now, I know at the moment it probably thinks that that's really not possible. And you might have to go back, dig deep, go back a long way before things, as I mentioned, before things got so bad, or how they are with somebody else. So you're going to do this every day, because to start with, you'll find maybe 2 or 3 things, or if you do find 5, it'll be the same 5 for 2 or 3 days. Okay, but after a while, slowly, gradually, you will start to notice more good things about them, because you're now looking for the good things about them. And let me tell you, if you've got kids, this is so powerful. If you've got a relationship that's a bit iffy, this is so, so powerful. So You can continue with your 5 things, but like I say, this is a daily exercise, and you'll know when you've dealt with it, when it's no longer needing your effort, because you won't have those feelings. You will simply feel neutral about this person. You might even like them. Ah! All right. So as long as you've got a couple of things, then you can finish this a little bit later on. Yay! Okay, this is where we're working for. All right. So we thought that the acknowledging your role was the challenging part. I'm going to offer you another couple of steps. Okay, but this is where it gets really, really, really challenging. Okay, you are going to send them some love. Yep, that's right. You are going to send them some love. Yes, I know you can't do that. I know you can't do that right now. Do you know why you can't do that? Because you haven't got enough love. You're running on empty. And you sure as heck aren't going to waste what little bit you've got on them. So what to do? Fill your heart so full of love that it overflows, and they just get swamped in anyway. That's my favorite. I just love to have so much love that it really doesn't matter. They're going to get it whether they want it or not. And that feels like, that feels good to me. So if you are out of love, you don't have that deep supply of love, this is a really powerful process. And remember that this whole process has nothing to do with the other person. It is all about you, putting you back in control of your emotions. So fill your heart so full that it overflows and they get the overspill. So take a couple of deep breaths. Just do this with me now. Take a couple of deep breaths and recall a memory that felt like your heart was going to burst with love. Could be when you held your baby for the first time, or a puppy or kitten, or when you fell in love. Anything. Just think back to that time and allow that feeling into your heart. Allow it, just allow it to saturate your body. If you do this every day, regardless of whether you've got somebody to lag on or not, if you do this every day, your life will become so beautiful. It really will become so beautiful. So allow those emotions to fill you up and really bring those beautiful feelings into every cell of your body and magnify them. And magnify them some more so that you are completely overflowing with love. And the best bit about it is they're going to get flooded with your love whether they want it or not. Now, another thing you could do if you really are depleted, and I know a lot of us are very depleted, is just to grab a handful of universal love, because love is all around us. Grab a handful of love, universal love, and throw it at them just like a snowball. They'll get splattered with it. Okay. So what if you really don't want a better relationship with this person? Well, first of all, you have to decide whether you're happy having them control your feelings. And if you are, great. There's no right or wrong in this. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just don't complain about it. Yeah? Being a victim can be a really, really comfortable place. And as long as you realize that's your choice, you are choosing to be a victim, that's fine. That's your choice. Again, there's no judgment, no right or wrong. That is your choice. My sense is that you are over being a victim, and that's why you're here on this call. Yeah. So even if you don't want a closer relationship with that person, lagging on them will put you back in control where you belong. If you're in a relationship and you're not sure if you want that relationship to continue, do it anyway. it will mean that the separation is much more pleasant and certainly less acrimonious. This is a really powerful exercise to do with your ex, particularly if you have kids together and need to maintain some kind of communication, or you've got a court case or something going on. And I know this is hard. I do know how hard this is, trust me. But when you do this, it's not about them. This is about getting the results you want. And I want to give you a beautiful example of one of my clients who came to one of my Finding the Gorgeous in You workshops. And we did this as a group. And he did his exercise on his aunt, who he had not spoken to for many, many years because he'd asked her to lend him some money and she said no. So he took it personally and didn't speak to her again. And he said when he did that exercise, he realized what a powerful gift she gave him by making him stand on his own 2 feet. He also noticed a couple of other things as well, but it really had a profound impact on him. But get this, the next day I was giving him a Bowen treatment. He was one of my previous clients, giving him a Bowen treatment. And I said to him, have you considered contacting your aunt? And he said, she sent me a Facebook friend request yesterday or last night. So within a few hours, she was free of that energy net and they've now been able to rebuild a relationship. That is how powerful it is. She knew nothing. She didn't know what was going on. But what a turnaround, hey? So there's so much here that will put you back in control. And it didn't matter whether he built a relationship with her or not. He set himself free from the energy net that he had created. So both of these are, these are all challenging exercises, but the results will be beyond anything you could imagine. They truly, truly will put you back in control of your life. And so many of us are really manipulated by other people's energy. So I encourage you to really, really do this. Now, this last one, sending them love, is the icing on the cake. All right, we've got our 3 steps. We're going to identify, acknowledge, and change. And then that's our cake. And then we can put icing on the cake. We can send them love. Okay, this will accelerate the process. You don't have to do it, but it will accelerate the process and really empower you. And if you really, really want to put a cherry on top of the icing, on top of the cake, then tell them what it is that you like, appreciate, or you're grateful for about that. One of my clients did this to her partner, and the difference was incredible. And she will tell you that she could not believe the difference in their relationship because she just said to him at the end of the day, do you know what? These are 5 things that I like, appreciate, and I'm grateful for about you. How powerful is that? Okay, so if you've got somebody at work who's a challenge, totally disrupt them by telling them what they like, what you like. And you have to be able to do it. It's not, if you're doing it with resentment, then no, don't do it. But how powerful is that? It really, really is. So let's recap then. Your 3 steps to freedom, or 3 steps to freeing yourself from negative emotions, are to identify the energy around a situation, to acknowledge your role, what energy are you bringing to this situation, and then to change your energy to match the results that you want. Are there any questions? Please feel free to put your questions in the chat. So what is next? What is next? Where do I go? Do I go over here? Do I go over there? No, this way, that way. What is next? So you have now learned the steps to free yourself from negative emotions. You do need to do this regularly. This is a tool that you need to practice. Yeah, when we have a new tool, we have to practice with it until it becomes a habit. Okay, this is such a powerful tool, but all the tools in the world are no good if you just leave them in the toolbox and don't use them. So please, please, please play with this and practice it. Now, if you found this useful, you might like to join one of my new programs starting next week. So the first one, starting on Monday, is You Were Born Rich. And this is a study of Bob Proctor's book, You Were Born Rich. It's quite intensive. It's 11 weeks. We have a weekly live mastermind. So we read the book, and it's more than just a book club. Okay, this is so much more than just a book club. It's a weekly in-depth session where we look at how do we apply these principles into our daily lives. There's also a private Facebook support group, and that is on Monday at 10:30 a.m. GMT, which I think is Perth, 6:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. East Coast. So have a look at that. I love this course. It really does shift things, getting an insight. I mean, how often have you read a book and then somebody else talks about the book and you think, are we talking about the same book here? Or watched a movie? Yeah, because we see different things. So the masterminding on what we've seen, what we've read, what we've understood really broadens our understanding of the book. So I would love you to join me for that if that's something that is of interest to you. And the other one is my Right Direction program. And this is 8 weeks. Again, there's a weekly live mastermind. There's homework for you to do in between, growth work, sorry. And there's a private Facebook support group also. And that is on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. at GMT, which is 10 p.m. Perth time and midnight East Coast. Now, I do realize that for the Australians out there, it's very late. However, for the Americans, the other one is a little bit early. So we will see how we go. If there is enough interest, I will look at running another class of both of them at different times to suit as many of you as I possibly can. So each program comes with a private Facebook group and a live weekly mastermind, really to embed your learning as deeply as possible. And the calls will be recorded if you can't make it. So how much do these programs cost? Well, they could cost a lot. I used to run the Right Direction one for $600. But you can get it for $100 a month, no contract. And even better than that, you can get both of them for the same price. I'm part of a wonderful membership scheme. We call it Netflix for Coaching, because it's a beautiful platform. You just have a monthly membership and you have access to a whole range of coaching. So not only can you access both of these programs for $100 a month, you can access my Mindset Matters TII Lights masterclass, which I run on Fridays, and my Getting Into the Flow masterclass, which I run on Tuesdays. Both of these are great fun. I've been running them for a little while through this platform in this community, and it is just awesome. So you, for your $100 a month, can access all 4 of those, plus when I get around to putting it in, I've got to find somewhere in my diary to fit it in, my Finding the Gorgeous in You program. So you can get all of these programs for only $100 a month US. Oh, did I mention you get access to unlimited live masterclasses and recorded programs? So I'm not the only coach in this platform, this community. There's many of us, and we are growing rapidly. It's a fairly new concept, and it is just awesome. So the beautiful thing about this is that, you know, you can do a Tony Robbins program, a Bob Proctor program, or any of these others, and they do live sessions. But those live sessions you have to send your questions in. There's no interaction. You know, I love Bob Proctor, my mentor. But he sits in his office and one of his staff read out the questions and then he answers the questions. Yes, it's being filmed live, but is there interaction? No, there isn't. And that's where this is different. We have live interaction every single week. Well, every single day. There's different programs, different classes on every single day. So I encourage you to come and explore it, because it really is the most amazing opportunity that I've ever come across as a coach. And when I look at how much I've invested in my personal development and how much I'm getting now, it really is a no-brainer. So let's have a look. Oh, wait, there's more. There's more. You could win. Okay, you could win. So to celebrate the launch of the programs, we're having a competition. So if you sign up for either of them or both of them, you will go into a draw to win an Elise VIP silver package. This is 4 hours of one-to-one coaching with me, value US $720. Okay, that's a pretty nice prize, isn't it? So you get that on top of everything else. That is one-to-one coaching. And then this smartwatch, we brought this in for a particular reason. If you've ever done any personal development, you will know that one of the hardest things about personal growth is that our family and friends don't get it. Yeah, so we want to find you, we want to encourage you to find at least 2 people that you want to grow with, that you want to do these programs with together. And then that way, you don't have to get rid of all the negative people in your life, because for many of us, it's our family. And we can't just get rid of the family. Okay, but the more people we can surround ourselves with who think differently, think the way we want to be going, the better it is. So we really encourage you to find people that you want to do this with. And for the smartwatch, the TUI smartwatch worth $280, will go to the person who has the biggest team, brings in the most friends. So there's a little bit of an incentive there for you. And we say at least 2 people because you'll support each other when your friends and family are trying to pull you back down, you know, into their comfort zone. And they will, and you will have experienced this. If you've ever been on a workshop or a retreat or something, and you come out on a high and you come home and the first thing they do is burst your bubble. Yeah, because they don't remember that energy we talked about. They don't know what's different, but they can feel the energy. And even though it's a higher energy, they're comfortable in their little comfort zone. And something is different and they don't know what. So their amygdala, their prehistoric limbic brain will go into, this is different, it's dangerous. And they will do what they can to pull you back into their comfort zone. So a couple of people will do that, will help you when that happens, and it will happen. And the second reason is that because their membership, if you bring in 2 people, their membership will pay for yours. And I'll explain that to you when you sign up. So first of all, I'd like to know, how did you find out about us? Please send me a message and let me know who or how you found out about us. And I will post the link. And yeah, let's just summarize what we've got here. Only $100 a month with no contract. You're not locked into anything. You get 2 programs, both my programs, You Were Born Rich and Mindset Matters TII Light. The Right Direction, 2 for the price of 1, plus my Mindset Matters TII Light, plus getting into the flow, plus access to other coaching, live coaching sessions and recorded programs. And you could win Silver VIP one-on-one package, 4 hours of one-to-one coaching taken in whatever format you want. And if you bring your friends and family with you, you can win a TUI smartwatch worth $280. So I want to encourage you to come and explore. This is the vault. This is where I host my programs, just because I cannot give this much value on my own. This is the power of collaboration. So collaborating with other coaches where we all bring in our value, and you, the user, has access to all of it for the same fee. So it's a bit like Netflix. You've got all those different genres of movies. You can watch action, cartoon, love, romance, documentaries. They're all there. So this is the same kind of thing. So I want to encourage you to come and check us out. And if please let me know how you found us, because if it's somebody who is also within our community, then I will get them to send you their link so that you come in under their team. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really do trust that you've got something useful out of this, something powerful that you can use. And you do need to use it. Don't just put it in your toolbox and just leave it there. You do need to use it. So start practicing and really have some fun with it. Life needs to be fun. It's meant to be fun. Fun is a high vibration. Yay! So I just want to say thank you very much. Please, any questions, just reach out, and yeah, let's connect and see what we can create together. So take care and stay special, and I'll see you next week.